Metallica and Vomiting Rats.
Hey, want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Brad, Sean, Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
I think those of you who are regular listeners of the program, you realize we're all about accuracy. That's basically our middle name. Plants that die and come back every year, they're not annuals, they're not perennials, they're millennials is what they are. They're called millennials. So just wanted to clear that up. One other thing I should point out to anybody, the kiddies don't play at noon games. We play primetime Sunday night football. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. I get to watch Carrie Underwood sing Wait. A lot of people like the Carrie Underwood waiting all day for Sunday night thing. I wait all day just to hear her tell me I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. So Sunday night game will be Kitties versus Texans. Right now, though, it's time for 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for the lowdown in Dinky Town.
The Gophers men's basketball team opened its season with an 80-57 win over Oral Roberts last night at the Barn. Dawson Garcia scored 30 points on 11 of 14 shooting. He also added 8 rebounds. Parker Fox was on the Power Trip Morning Show this morning and said Garcia is one of the best players in the country. Common, do you agree with him?
I'm not paying as close attention to Gopher basketball as I once did, nor NCAA college basketball in general. There are so many players that I like Parker. I've played golf with him. Nice kid, good player. He's going to say nice things about his teammates, right? So, and he could be right. I mean, Dawson Garcia is a really good player. Is he one of the best in the country? That I don't know. It's possible, but he certainly has a lot of talent. I mean, he's kind of the cornerstone of the club, right? I mean, he's the guy. As Dawson Garcia goes, I think so go the Gophers. But high praise. I'll have to take his word for it. Are we ranked yet? Are we others receiving votes even? Because we're 1-0. We're on pace to win everything. So nice win to get it under their belts. I just don't know with transfers and Unreal. No, that's a clothing company that I'm an ambassador for. What's it called? Nil. With Nil and all that, I don't know where the Gophers are headed. It's been a little frustrating, I think. And if you're a Gophers fan, it's a little demoralizing that when we have had some I don't know how good the Payne kid was ever going to be, but look, hey, this guy's got a nice from Cottage Grove, really blossomed this year, and all of a sudden he got offered $500,000 from A&M, allegedly, so you go. So I don't know where they're headed, but nice to get a win, and best of luck to the whole club. I'm rowing the boat.
Question number 2.
Common, if you had to watch one game tonight, which would you watch? Timberwolves at Chicago or Wild at San Jose? You're forced to watch one of them.
Do you know the way to San Jose? I'm going back to find some peace of mind. And all the stars that never were are parking cars and pumping gas. Like physically forced, like someone was fighting me to keep me in the chair? No.
Yeah.
I mean, so I have to watch.
You have to watch the game. You have to watch one of those 2 games.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. We're the state of hockey, and they're higher on the pecking order here in the fan family of teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would watch the Wild. Then I'm really interested in how they will do against the Dallas Stars. I think you'll hear them both on the Fan tonight, though. Oh,
because that Wild game's at 9:30.
Well, then I would watch the Wolves because 9:30 I'm going to bed. I might have to play golf in the morning. So yeah, that's getting to be a little late for me.
Follow-up question:
if either team were to lose tonight, which loss would be more disappointing?
Who are the Wild playing again?
They're at San Jose.
They any good?
They started off the season with 9 straight losses. Now, they've won 4 of their last 5, but still, towards the bottom of the standings. They've got some young talent there, but they're very early on in their rebuild.
I would say if the Wild lost, that would be more disappointing. Because, in the NBA, they'll just say, we're just one of those games. The ball got sticky. Yeah, we didn't get back on transition defense enough, but we're going to do it next time. Just watch us. And then so that I could see where you lose that game in Chicago. So,
especially for the Wild coming off their 5-1 loss to the Kings.
Yes, that's a very good point. So maybe I will watch. No, I'm not going to watch. But yeah, that would be the one that would be more disappointing.
Question number 3. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
The 4-5 Cincinnati Bengals are at the 6-3 Baltimore Ravens tonight for Thursday Night Football. Common, is this a must-win game for the Bengals?
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Bengals and who?
Bengals are 4-5. They're at Baltimore tonight, who's 6-3. Is this a must-win game for the Cincinnati Bengals?
It's a must-win game tonight on Thursday night. Prime time football on Amazon Prime. I think it almost is. They're 4 and what? 5?
4-5, yeah.
I mean, are you really fans when we run these games off and make the playoffs? If you go to 4 and 6, it's not over. But you're playing an arch rival, division foe. You want to make a statement. Then where's it at?
It's at Baltimore.
So it's not in the jungle. Ooh, boy, it's at the perch. It's as close to a must-win as you can get. You put yourself behind the 8 ball if you lose. I don't really have a dog in the fight, a horse in the race. I just like to. That's a game I might tune in to see, because I do think I'm not a big guy that buys into the desperation factor helps a team. Usually because a team's desperate, it's because they've been playing bad football, right? That's why they're in a desperation mode. So, but because they're desperate and the Ravens would love nothing more than to take them down a notch, I think it could be a good football. It's got all the makings of a good football game on a Thursday.
A rare good Thursday night football game.
So I think but I think it's very important to the Bengals.
Question number 3.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
It's time now for the controversial question of the day.
If you had to be trapped in a television show from any era for an entire month, which television show would you like to be trapped inside of?
Gilligan's Island, because I think I'd have my choice of Ginger or Marianne.
Yeah, baby.
I think Gilligan's. I think it's a no-brainer for me. How about you?
You want to be on an island, not knowing if you're going to get off the island, having to
let me ask you a question.
Hunt for your own food.
Let me ask you a question. If you were stuck on an island for the rest of your life with Ginger and Marianne, would it really bother you? You'd have everything you need, right?
Well, what if they liked
cigars?
What if they liked Gilligan or the Skipper better than me?
If you watch the show, I don't think there were any romantic attachments with any of the Skipper or Gilligan. I'm the Radio Romeo, man. There's no switch. Matter of fact, they would be fighting over me is what they would. So I'd be Gilligan's Island for me. How about you? Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell would be good, though I'm not ready to go back to high school. I would say maybe Friends, because just like Ginger and Marianne, you got some lowercase D's on the Friends cast as well. They seem like they're all fun.
Then again, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Sure,
There was a time I'd like to belly up to the bar. Did I tell you I quit drinking? So I'd like to belly up to the bar. There'd be something. Did you come up with this question on your own? Did you see it?
I think I saw it somewhere. Yeah.
I like it.
I've had it in the bank for about 6 months here.
I really like it. Your bank, what's your checking account down to?
It's down to $65,000.
That's trouble. Andy Griffith would be fun too, because that was back when everything was so innocent. Back in Mayberry, little old small town. Just up the road from Mount Pilot. So that would...
I wouldn't want to be on Little House on the Prairie. That looks boring to me. Or MASH.
How about Flintstones?
Flintstones would be great.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, or Jetsons would be the best.
It's a living.
Jetsons would be really fun.
Jane, his wife, his boy Elroy, and Astro, his dog.
What was the robot's name?
Judy. I don't remember what the robot's name was. I think it was iRobot, which led to a great album and song by the Alan Parsons Project, who we had on the air one time. He got really, I think he was annoyed because he has a song talking about being on death's door. And I said, do you feel like, and I said the name of the title of the song. And he went, no, not really. I'm not ready to die yet. But anyway, that's I'd rather talk about that than if Cashman's turf toe is going to be ready. What other?
Well, you forgot to do the Doug Pederson comment too. So we saw that at some point before the show's over.
Yeah. Well, we can do that on the other side of the break.
Okay.
Because we do have a break coming up.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Some people have suggested maybe be on to live on Love Boat, but then I would start thinking about the Tenna Fitzgerald, and I would probably get seasick. So I don't know if I'd do that. Three's Company would be fun. Three's Company.
Three's Company wouldn't be bad.
Two. Come on, knock on our door. Yeah, pretty good. All right, we'll break. We'll come back. 10B's got he's going to put $1,000 in somebody's hand.
Yeah, the fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com. Your Minnesota Wild are red hot to start the season. Don't miss out on seeing them in action. Tickets are available now at wild.com/hockey tickets. That's wild.com/hockey tickets to get yours today.
Coach media interviews can be rather dull, mundane, and boring. And trust me, I'm the host of the Grum, so I know dull, mundane, and boring. And sometimes they can be entertaining, interesting, eye-opening. Doug Pederson is the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the Vikings' opponent this Sunday. A game here on this radio station, on your audio home of the Minnesota Vikings. That would be FM 100.3. The Fan. Our coverage will begin at 10, kickoff at 12. Barney the Purple Dinosaur, Vox in the Box, the National Treasure will be on the call, along with former Viking and current Vikings interior decorator Pete Bursich, Ben Lieber on the sideline, and your master control supervisor is Tenna Beasy. But Doug Pederson, in his news conference yesterday with the assembled media from Jacksonville, asked Doug about, I think if you have the whole soundbite I have, the question's there, but I'll ask it anyways. He was asked about why has Sam Darnold been playing so well. Here's how it went.
Sam Darnold's seeming to click finally this season.
Oh, yeah.
You know, first time in his career, first round pick. Why? Like, why is this the time for him?
Justin Jefferson? Because you're thinking it. I think the talent around him, he's always been a solid quarterback. And whatever team or role he's on, I just think now he's learning, maturing, and showing that he's capable of doing it.
I love the Justin Jefferson, which is a great answer. And I just love where he said, well, that's what you were thinking. And it does have a lot to do with it.
Sure.
A lot to do with it. There's no question about that. I mean, when you have arguably the best wide receiver in football, there might be some other people that might put another name or two up there, but he's certainly one of the top 1 or 2. It does make a quarterback's job easier, especially when and this is pretty simple X's and O's. When you have a receiver like Jets that attracts a lot of attention, like double teams and such, well, that just frees up other guys. And then when Hawkinson's back now, Hawkinson's absence, I don't think can be underestimated. Again, there are differing views on every player. There are some people that think Hawkinson's one of the best tight ends in football. I think he's among the top. He's in the top 10 for sure, might be, scraping that top 5. when you're out that long, too, I think you just kind of, there's still part of the, well, let's see. Can he return back to the thrilling days of yesteryear? He had something like 33 snaps in his return last week. Something like 3 catches for, I think it was 27 yards, somewhere around there. So it was a nice return, kind of easing him back into it. But, yeah, I mean, take Jets off the club, and we don't want to do that. And I know this is kind of goes without saying. How good do you think Sam Darnold's numbers are? Probably not as good. Because now, what was number 1 wide receiver become? Jordan Addison. If they didn't replace Jets with somebody, of that same caliber. So, yeah, having him there. And, I do think the other thing Pederson said was, and it's kind of that coach speak and kind of that cliche, well, he's maturing a little bit and playing a little bit more and doing this, whatever he said. I think a lot of it also has to do, I think we talked about this. He said it himself. And I don't think this can be overlooked either, or underestimated, or whatever phrase I'm looking for, or word, is being a backup quarterback at San Francisco when they made that run they did to the big game last year. And you're watching Brock Purdy, and he's a talented kid. I think wasn't Purdy Mr. Irrelevant? Mm-hmm. Mr. Irrelevant. I think, doesn't he have that famous quote where Brock Purdy says, "I'm Mr. Irrelevant"? He's turned into a quality quarterback. I had doubts about him. I now believe that he's more than just a system quarterback that benefits from one of the best, offensive minds in the game, or considered one of the best offensive minds in the game, in Kyle Shanahan. You got George Kittle. You got Deebo Samuel. You have Brandon Ayuk. Up until just this year, because he's been injured, but you got one of the best backs in football, if not the best. What's McCaffrey's first name? Is it Chris? Why can't I remember his name? Christian McCaffrey. There again, that you put a quarterback in that situation. Pretty hard to screw that up. You'd have to not be very good if you went into San Francisco as a starting quarterback and couldn't win some ball games with those weapons, and a really good offensive line, including maybe the best left tackle in football this side of Christian Darrisaw. So to be able to watch that, and he said it himself, he said to watch how it works, how Purdy, went about his business from week to week leading up to the games, and how they did it in the quarterback room. And then to watch it unfold in front of your eyes. He said that was eye-opening for him, and it really helped him, and that's why I think you blend all those things together, and that's why Sammy Darnold has an arm, E-I-E-I-O, with a scoop sack here and a pick 6 there. Sorry. He did have, what did he have? He had a did they had a scoop and score, right?
Yeah.
So he got sacked on it, and it was a scoop and score.
That was the one that our center just got trucked over.
Right. And was that also the one where basically the guy was like Mike Tyson and threw a right cross and just almost...
Yeah.
It was like... It looked more like Rock'em Sock'em Robots than it did. Did you have Rock'em Sock'em Robots when you were a kid?
No, but my kids got them last year.
Oh, did they?
I don't know, for Christmas or something.
So you're teaching your kids to settle things with their fists,
yeah, they basically stopped using it.
Yeah.
They did it like a time or two and then gave up on it.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
I'd love to have it.
We still have it, yeah. It's all yours.
Could you really?
I don't know if we've given it away by now because they don't use it. See
if you can find it. I'd love to have Rock'em Sock'em Robots back. I'd like to take Deuce out behind the woodshed and give him 1-2 with the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Is it still the same? Was one of the boxers was a blue color? And the other was, yeah. God,
very fitting for our political climate. Yeah. Red and blue just, boxing away at each other. That. Just throwing haymakers.
Well, if it is, then blue's flat on its back.
Well, yeah, blue's the one that got knocked down.
Blue's flat. A lot of people are saying I won again. Very controversial scorecard 4 years ago.
But was that boxing game rigged? That's the question.
That's what everybody doesn't. A lot of people don't know. But anyway, and again, this has been a discussion not just here but elsewhere. You kind of, there are times when Sam, almost every time, especially if it's a critical position, when Sam drops back, you kind of put your hand over your eyes and kind of peek through with the fingers because you just go, the frayed nerves thing we were talking about with place kickers, especially place kickers that haven't ever kicked in a regular season game. And that's John Parker Romo is who we have now. And whether he gets down to that situation remains to be seen. A pause will come back. Minnesota Wild, the Jolly Green Giant, he wants to update you on what's happening there. What you got, Tenna?
Yeah, this is Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. The Wild begin a 3-game road trip tonight in San Jose. The Sharks are tied for the third worst record in the NHL at 4-8-2, but they've won 4 of their past 5 games. The Wild added an extra forward for this trip, promoting Michael Milne, who has 4 goals and 4 assists in 10 games for Iowa this season. For San Jose, Logan Couture and Marc-Edouard Vlasic are out with an injury. Wild and Sharks tonight, 9:30 p.m. puck drops. You can hear that game right here on The Fan. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795. The Prep Bowl is more than just a game. It's a celebration of Minnesota high school football. Don't miss the action, excitement, and drama on November 22nd and 23rd. Catch it all live on 45 TV or download the KSAP app on your streaming device or catch the action in person by heading over to our contest page and registering for your chance to win 2 tickets to the games. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common, he's Tenna B. Mark Rosen will join us in the 651 Carpets Plus Studios, home of the next day install. If you need hardwood flooring or carpeting, get a hold of the folks at 651carpetsplus.com. They carpeted the main level of my home, and I'm a 100% satisfied customer. National Football League, Tenna B, has been spreading their wings for a number of years now. I call it their European tour. Sort of like, the PGA, the European Tour, where we have a handful of games that are played in, usually they're played in London. There was one down in Brazil, so we went South America. And there's also one, is this the first game in Germany, or they've done that before? Because this coming Sunday's game is in Germany. Do you know how they learn to count in Germany? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can count to 10 in German. I took German in 7th grade. That's all I learned was how to count to 10.
Looks like they played 3 there before.
And you know what's interesting? Oh. I dropped out in 10th grade. So I only learned to count to 10. They played in Germany before?
Yeah, twice last year, once the year before that.
How do they sell this game? Hey, we're going to give you the New York Giants against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, could you have, is that maybe one of the worst matchups in the history of the National Football League? Giants, Carolina. I think in football-starved Germany, well, the NFL will tell you they're football-starved. Oh, we got to go to Europe. Even there, you would think they'd know enough to go, we don't want this game. Why don't you give us Baltimore, Cincinnati, or Detroit at Houston? Give us something we can really sink our teeth into. New York Football Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. I would call that game vomit-inducing, quite frankly, but that's neither here nor there. What is Fish Wrap Factory, West Side did Bobby Nightingale, used to cover, I think, the Cincinnati Reds for a number of years, and now he's been the beat writer for the Fish Wrap West, covering the Twins for a couple of years now, does really good work. Wrote a piece. What's the date today? Is it the 7th or 8th today?
7th.
So this was, it appeared yesterday, late in the evening. Who did a song to be called Late in the Evening?
No idea.
He was one half of Simon and Garfunkel. Which one do you think it was?
I'll just say Simon.
Yeah, well, that'd be the guess because I don't think Art Garfunkel ever wrote a song. So yes, Paul Simon, Late in the Evening. Really good tune. Headline, baseball agent Scott Boras. New Twins ownership should bring in a very refreshed view, is what he said. Does he really believe that, or is he just hoping that they will bring in a refreshed view because he represents Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis, Duran, Jefferson, Paddock?
He'd like some money for Royce Lewis, I think.
Those guys will come in, and you know what? They're going to want to win. And they're going to want to win. They're going to spend some money on this club. And by the way, I've got 5 clients I would like a raise.
Yeah. A very unbiased view.
Here's what Boris said, but this story is Dateline San Antonio. So I think it's where the winter meetings are taking place. But there is something he says here, Teneby, that I tend to agree with. It says, the great thing about franchises, I think, is when you see them change ownership, certainly here, you see someone come in that has a very refreshed view about why they bought the team. Then he goes on to say, and this is, and I know he has ulterior motives and such like that,
Yeah.
but I think he's spot on here. Here's what it says. I realize it's an investment, but they understand now that I don't want to walk around my city and have my last name changed because I understand my last name is now winner or loser. I don't think any ownership ever realizes that until they buy the teams, until they are involved in the sport. Then all of a sudden they understand that regardless of their great business success that allowed them to buy that team, their presence in our country is probably most noted for the behavior of that team that they just purchased. And I absolutely positively agree. You know, the Pohlads have done very well in the business world, right? To the point that Forbes, for the past 10 years, Forbes says their net worth is like $3.8 billion. It has to be more than that. They're not just spinning their wheels and just staying at breaking even every year. Are they? Billionaires don't break even. I don't know when Forbes will release their next list. I got to think they're 6, 7, 8, 9. But when they, I don't understand them, but even if it's 3.8, you don't generate that kind of wealth by not knowing how to operate a business, right? And we've always talked about that. At least some of us feel that's part of the Pohlads' problem, is that they treat it like the Pepsi Cola bottling company or Wells Fargo Bank or Carousel Auto. They don't. It's the entertainment industry, and you would think that which of the Pohlad sons is it? Rob, Chip, or Ernie that does movies? You know, he took his money and said, "I want to be in Hollywood." So he funds movies. He's an angel in Hollywood is what they would call him. He's got big money. He's got money that he can put behind a movie. He can, I don't know if he writes the movies. I don't think he writes them himself. I don't know who wrote. I think his first big hit was a Brokeback Mountain. I think that was his first big hit. But being in the entertainment industry, you would think he would know that you got to have hits, man. And the only way to do that is, my guess is, who starred in Brokeback Mountain? My guess it was a couple of big Hollywood guys, and you got to pay the big bucks to them. You can't have B-list actors and have hit movies. It generally doesn't work that way. So you think, whether it was Rob, Chip, or Ernie, I don't remember which one, you would think he would know that and go, you might want to beef up the roster a little bit with some A-list players. And it does. I mean, I look, and I shed no alligator tears or crocodile tears or walrus tears for the Pohlads, but I bet it is annoying if they're paying attention. And there are some Pohlad pocket protectors in this town that think they are paying attention, particularly to the common man, that, you're cheap. You're the reason the team's terrible. And there's a lot of Pohlad jokes. There's this one comic I saw. He does this Pohlad penny pinching booth bit. Oh, he thinks that's really funny. Yeah, have you ever been to Twins Fest lately? There's the Pohlad penny pinching booth. You can hand a penny to Joe Pohlad and watch him pinch it. For only $24.99, and for another $19.99, you can have that penny put in a commemorative frame. Only catch is you got to supply the penny. Do you think they like hearing those things? That went over big last night. It's a good bit. Larry Mondello guy gave it to me. He wrote it.
Really?
Yep. 25% of my act is mine. 25% is Maury Amsterdam guy. 5% is Larry Mondello guy, and then 25% is my brother. And then there's a couple that are just old. You know how they have in music after, what's it called when something's been around? It's public domain.
Yeah. Like
Raquel Welch, she should be in 3D. 3D, that's my apartment number. That's public domain. Anybody can use that. But not that anybody would want to, but just so you know, it's out there. It's available to fledgling comics everywhere. But you probably do get tired of hearing about it, and you might not realize that is basically what I like the way Boris said it. Your last name either becomes You either become Joe winner or Joe loser, right? And you just, I think the teams that are the most successful, because look, there are teams that are in smaller markets in all sports. And I know baseball is different because there's no salary cap, there's no salary cap floor, blah, 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 a salary floor. But there have been teams in smaller markets in baseball that have been successful before and have won championships, right? And when we look at it, this year was the one where the two teams, I can't remember if the Mets were the Mets were in the top three. I don't remember if they were third, but let's just say they were. So that means the top two teams in payroll, at least two of the top three teams in payroll, were in the World Series this year. And I think the Dodgers had the highest payroll and they won. And that's where you will get. That's where you will get the pull that pocket protectors and they'll say, see how awful it is. Baseball they can't continue this way. This model will not work when it's just whoever has the most money has the most toys and they're going to win every time. Well, that's not the case. They don't. Most of those teams are competitive every year because they are able to get those A-list players or at least B-plus players, and they're able to compete every year. Doesn't always work out. One of the things that the Poleat pocket protector would say is money doesn't solve everything. Look at the Yankees. Look at the Yankees. Look at it, because the Yankees have not won the World Series since, was it 2009 or was it even further back than that? It's been what seems like forever, certainly in the world of sports. 5-10 years in the world of sports is forever. I mean, think about the Twins. It's been since 91. You talk about forever, 91, 01. 11, 30 plus years, whatever.
Yeah, 2009 for the Yankees.
So 2009. So it doesn't guarantee anything, but I just think it does give you a better chance. I know that it was one of your favorite artists of all time that said, "Mo money, mo problems." I think that's your favorite song of all time. But you know what? Mo money also creates mo wins in a lot of cases, right? Or at least mo momentum.
I would say mo money is a good problem to have.
Yeah, I think it is. And so, did I overhear you? I shouldn't talk about your private finances on the air.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with this.
Did I hear you right about your checking account?
Yeah.
It's down to what?
It's down to $65,000. Yeah.
I can loan you a couple, $13-14. Do I owe you any money from bets anymore? Or
I think we're all square, but I don't know.
You want me to give you a couple bucks? I mean, it couldn't be much more than a couple bucks because I don't bet very much money, as you know.
I feel like, do I have an open bet with Rosen right now? I forget. Maybe I need Power Trip Bets to.
Yeah, maybe
I feel like I have like a season-long football.
Maybe Power Trip Bets could weigh in for us. So, but yeah, I'm
wondering if I took the Lions and he took the Vikings for the season. I don't remember.
I think that's possible. I think Power Trip Bets would know. So, anyways, what Scotty Boras said,
tweet me Power Trip Bets
at the winter meetings, I think makes a lot of sense. I really think it does. That owners, if they don't know ahead of time, they find out, they're not used to getting called names and being criticized and called losers. They just aren't, right? Because they're winners in business. And so all of a sudden it's like, it just doesn't, it can't feel good. And it's probably just, it throws them off. And it's like, well, I've never heard this kind of criticism before. Well, get used to it because you got to field a winning team. And even success is short-lived. I mean, how long do you think the Twins, I don't recall now, but that they were able to live off that goodwill of 87-91? A long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
got them through the Gardy era, I'd say.
Certainly, yeah, I think it did because even after that, there were times they still qualified for the playoffs. They had they had that nice stretch during the 2000s, right? Did they go to the playoffs like 6 years or
6 out of 9 years? Something like that.
And a lot of that had to do with the circumstance beyond our control, as Chrissy Hine in the Pretenders once sang song. You can't control the other rosters in your division, so we had a weak division and we took advantage of it, man. Put together some solid clubs. The 2009 team was good. The first year of the stair was 2010. I mean, wasn't it 2010 the first season we had? We went to the playoffs that year. I remember we faced the mighty Yankees. Seems like we face the mighty Yankees every time in the postseason play. And that was when we had Liriano. You know how I would sum up Liriano? Well, let Dark Star do it, would you? Dark Star will sort of sum up Liriano, who used to pitch for the Twins, really crafty left-hander, good player, was part of those playoff teams, one of our, he's probably our stud pitcher. Here's what Dark had to say about Liriano.
Then you go to Liriano on day 5, and if he's got it, you're in good shape. If he doesn't have it, get the women and children out of the first 5 rows in left field.
Yeah, and isn't that the truth? And we were in good shape through the first 5-6 innings, I think. We were up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. My brother and I bought a strip of tickets. I didn't get free tickets. Rosen. I bought the tickets. We bought a strip of them. We, first base, side of the field, lower level, 13, 14 rows back. Nice seats. My brother likes being on the aisle, so we had an aisle seat. And then all of a sudden, Liriano, they have to get the women and children out of the left field, the first 5 rows in left field, because we got clobbered. And then I don't even know how. It's again, it was so long. It was such a beautiful day that day too. It was a warmer day in the fall, October. Leaves, I love the sound of leaves on pavement as they're being blown across, the boulevard or the street or the lane, 13, 14 Insane Lane where I live. And we had a little something to eat in a bevy, one of the outdoor patios downtown near the stadium. Might have been at that Irish place. Kieran's is what it's called. Went in there and Rosen was doing the stand-up, everybody, Rosie! And they were all cheering him on. And you could tell he was a little embarrassed by it. Much like PA was embarrassed about being called a national treasure. Rosie doesn't really like that public attention. And, we got out to a 3-0 lead. We had the M&M boys, Morneau and Maurer. I was believing, Teneby. I had a reason to believe. And then after that, it's been all downhill since. I know we've had a couple of other playoff appearances. We were 0 for 18. And we snapped that last year. But,
by the way, Power Trip Bets got back to me.
Okay.
About you and I both have open bets.
We do.
You and Rosen. You've got the Lions to win the NFC North. He's got the Vikings to win the NFC North. $8 bet.
No.
And then,
you know what? If I lose that bet, my checking account's going to be down to $65,000. Sure.
And then I bet Rosen that the Vikings would not make the Super Bowl at 3-1 odds. So,
oh my gosh.
If the Vikings don't get to the Super Bowl, I win $50. If they do get to the Super Bowl, I owe Rosen $150.
You know what my favorite?
3-1 odds.
You know what my favorite bit is? Is when you offer, you say, hey, look, I'll let you out of the bet for X amount of dollars. Will you do that today?
To Rosie? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, you can do it too because you're ahead on your bet.
Yeah, I could do that too. This would be so much fun. Open bets, Rosie. Right now you're losing. This is so good. Yeah, we'll both offer them deals.
Yeah,
we'll
offer them a deal to try to get out.
We'll let you out on it right now if you want to be. Save some face and save some money because it's not looking. It's not looking.
You can't hear?
Yeah, you don't need to. We don't need to. You got an hour. We'll get you going right when you come in. We're going to get you going. So we'll do that. Did you say the Wild and Wolves, are they tonight or tomorrow night?
Both are tonight.
They both are tonight. And they're both
Wolves in Chicago.
Right.
Was that 6, 7 o'clock?
And both on the road, right? Usually those Chicago games start earlier for some reason.
That's at 7.
7 o'clock.
They're Central Time Zone.
And then the Wild are the 9:30 game against Do You Know the Way to San Jose? Who's in the pipes? Gus?
I haven't seen anything about who's in the pipes tonight. I have not seen.
Do you think Kaprizov is going to be able to keep a stiff upper lip, or is it still bleeding? Because he took a puck to the lip, didn't he? To the mouth? Was it a puck?
He's in the lineup.
He's in the lineup. Tough guy.
Looks like Declan Chisholm is in for Merrill.
Who? Declan Chisholm?
Yeah. Russo did not post who's going to be the goalie.
Okay.
But 10 minutes ago, he had somebody ask him on Twitter, Fleury or Gustardi. He said, I'd think Fleury, but we'll know soon.
Okay. So maybe Flower between the pipes against San Jose. I just like saying between the pipes. It's what the kids say. If you're a hockey guy, in the crease, between the pipes, the netminder. So we look forward to that, and then the Wolves again at Chicago. And again, I look at particularly in the NBA. And if you love watching regular season NBA basketball, God bless you. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't. But I still think, especially at this time of the year, kind of going through the motions a little bit, just kind of getting stretched out, because you could right now tend to be on a napkin, write down the 8 teams that are going to be in the Western Conference playoffs, and I guarantee you'd get all 8 right. There will be no surprises. We know who they're going to be. Minnesota, Denver, Dallas, Lakers, Clips. Maybe there might be one surprise or two, but that's pretty much the... and that's when we really start to focus. We get laser focused. A lot of people get laser focused once the NBA playoffs begin. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll welcome the legendary Mark Rosen into the program for a couple of segments, and then we'll be joined by Deuce, my firstborn, who I created for my loins for spread swing. All of that and more. Common Man program on the Fan.